they're not available at noon. Okay. So take it away, Ryan. It's all yours.
All right. And yeah, I guess we'll just go with the next. And I'll just kind of talk a little bit about myself. And to start, I'm in Regina. Started a property management company. I've been part of this community for quite a while, and I've known Robert for quite a while. And I'm not sure exactly when I met you, but I remember listening to a lot of speeches and stuff that you did back when too, like with you, Rob. But yeah, I just bought a bunch in about 5 houses in 2018, and now I've been looking to expand, and again, like I said, started a property management company, and yeah, keep going forward. Yeah, we might as well go next.
Yep.
So,
Just let me know when you want to go next, and I'll hit the next button.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm just doing a little bit of a presentation on the Regina and Regina market. So we'll just start with this and go forward and what Regina has to offer compared to other cities and other places here in Canada. So next. These are some of the current numbers for some of the city or properties and everything. I would look at this as more of the 330 as the benchmark, but that's also including condos and all those other numbers too, that like everything that's being sold and offered here in Regina. So next. What was this one? This was the population growth over the last few years and how it's been expanding. It's pretty average compared to other cities. I think the next one actually has the comparable from a few other cities in Regina or in Canada. But yeah, you can see how much it's grown over the last few years. So
Hey,
next.
Ryan,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
What are investors typically going in at for in Regina? Are they going after single family homes or apartment buildings, duplexes? Like what are they looking at primarily?
There's I would say single family homes. And that's kind of what I've been focused on. There are a lot of apartment buildings. There's a lot of cheap condos, but I like to stay away from condos and condo boards and condo fees and all that stuff. But everybody can kind of do their own thing. So, but it's really hard to get in an apartment building that actually works here in Regina. But it's not impossible. And if somebody came to me and was like, hey, let's look for an apartment building, I would do a pretty big campaign to try to find an apartment building that would actually work. But it's doable. It just, most of them before they get to the MLS are already gone. So yeah.
A bit in the same avenue, are there any cooperative living cooperatives?
Yeah, there would be. I'm not too familiar with the cooperatives, but I imagine there would be, and that you could.
We have quite a few here in Gatineau.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, for population growth, this is kind of where we stand. The West is growing a lot faster, so like Calgary, Edmonton, and then Regina's just fourth, but yeah, a lot faster growth rate than even Toronto or Montreal. So out of these cities, yeah, Regina ranks fourth, but we're just kind of I always look at us as kind of like the smaller and a little bit slower province than Alberta. And everybody seems focused on Alberta, but it's a little bit easier and cheaper to get into the Regina market here in Saskatchewan. So next. These are a few of the bigger corporations that employ people in Regina. So like there's some crown corporations. So like the government of Saskatchewan really does a lot. There's like Sask Power, SaskTel, Sask Energy. They employ quite a few people all over the province. The health region that employs quite a bit, and we mostly come into Regina as like Regina's the capital of Saskatchewan. And then a few other corporations like Brandt, and then there's even like Mosaic and like Terra, which are more industrial companies. And then, yeah, the University of Regina as well. So, yeah, next. There are some major projects that are being developed here in Regina. So, Sask Polytech is kind of a branch off of the university, but they're completely separate. It's more for tradespeople, and they're doing a major redevelopment. We're getting an AI data center, which should be bringing in. And I was just talking to an electrician the other day, and I guess they're going to be hiring 700 electricians for this project. And yeah, I'm not sure where they're going to be coming from, but that's quite interesting. I
Real
thought.
estate.
That's a lot of
to
electricians.
live.
Yeah, and that's just the electricians.
Well, I've had a team of electricians staying in my basement because they're building a new high school here in Gatineau.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
swear to God, it's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah.
So we have to get a property around there and get a couple of Airbnbs for those electricians coming.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you know if this AI data center is an announcement or if it's actually shovels in the ground at this point?
It's coming up soon. I don't think the shovels are there yet, but it's pretty close.
Do we have an estimated date for when this is expected to be complete?
Maybe not complete, but I think it's supposed to start within the next year or so.
Oh, that's pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like the electrician that I was talking to, he was hoping to stay with his current job for like another few months, but he was hoping to get into this one, like one of those 700 within the first year here. So, and then he's like, I'll probably be here for about 5 or so years dealing with that. And then he was hoping to retire after that.
Okay.
So that was his plans. I don't have much more insights on or
No,
insight.
that's fair. And I think just around the concept of data centers, I see that a lot of the time when these announcements are made, there's generally a lot of pushback from people just based on the environmental concerns, the fact that we need so much water for cooling, et cetera, et cetera. Has there been any sort of pushback against this, given that it's coming this close to being shovels on the ground? Like, is there any strong opposition to the idea that might change things?
There is, and I'd be one of those people who are a little bit concerned about that stuff too. But it doesn't seem like the council on the city seems to be listening to anybody anyways. And they're just pushing it through regardless.
Council always has their own agenda.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know any time a council's been listening to anyone, so not surprised.
Well,
And like,
I'm reading
I
here.
live right by a lake too, and I'm so like, I wonder what's going to happen with that. But just
I'm reading here, thanks to the search online, it says that the construction started spring 2026, and it should become operational 2027
Okay. So
spring.
Oh, it is shovels in the ground then.
yeah,
Awesome.
Yes,
maybe
there
there
is.
is. Maybe there is.
Okay, that's even better then.
Yeah.
It's yeah. There's some
Thank you for looking
information
that
on
up
there.
for me. But and then yeah, there's been other projects in the works too. So like the hospital's done some major renovations and development, and yeah, they're always building onto that. So like I remember a few years ago they built the new Mosaic Stadium, and that was a pretty big project. They've been doing a lot within city and like some of the city streets just to make it look nicer too. But I want to consider those massive projects, even though it takes up quite a bit of the city. But yeah, I guess we'll go with next. So yeah, Canada, or I mean, Regina is one of the more affordable cities in the Regina or in the Canadian market right now. Next. We make like, I guess with how we determine the affordability is we look at the price and like how the average amount that people make within the city. And so within the other cities here in Saskatchewan, Regina is among the top, a little bit over or Saskatoon, but there are cities like Estevan and Lloydminster that do make a little bit more.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Estevan is a hole in the ground. How the hell do they have such a high average household income?
Where's that?
Estevan.
Estevan.
Oh, Estevan. It's a lot more industry driven, and it's a very transient city. So a lot of people are. There's like what was it? I think a coal mine and a coal power plant that are both right there, and so yeah, I guess they're making pretty good wages.
Jesus.
Right? Is it household income or it's a per person?
That's a household
Okay. Thanks.
income.
I do have an East Coast newbie question. Isn't Lloydminster also in Alberta? Is it the same city, or are there two Lloydminsters,
Yes.
one in Alberta and one in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, it's actually right on the border. So there is Lloydminster, half is in Alberta and the other half is in Saskatchewan.
Oh,
The border runs right through the city. I forget which street it is, but yeah, once you cross that street, you're in the other province.
learn something new every day. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I guess next. And so this is where we kind of stack up with average home prices. And so Regina is among some of the lowest with the benchmark. So it's a lot easier to get in than, so like home for 350,000 as opposed to 1.2 million is a lot easier. Anyways, yeah, I guess next. And then this will be the affordability ratio there. So Regina's again amongst the top where income versus home prices is pretty good. Yeah, especially like I don't know how people are affording Vancouver, Toronto. Halifax,
not.
I hear a lot of people talk about Halifax, but out in the East Coast, and I always kind of until here, I said like we're pretty comparable with Halifax, but our affordability is a lot better.
Halifax is more like Ottawa now.
Yeah, Halifax, Calgary, Ottawa are similar now.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, yeah, everyone was kind of talking about Halifax for a while, and then we oversaturated the market, but Regina is still kind of an untapped market with investors.
So for a $358,000 home, what would rent be like?
I think I'm getting into the rent ratio pretty soon, but
Okay. I'll wait.
yeah, it's yeah, if we go to next, I think it might even be the next slide.
There you go.
Yeah. So the average rent here is 1,450. And then yeah, compared to, I wasn't aware that like Vancouver and Toronto were already up in the 2000s for, and Halifax as well, for their or I guess rents and everything.
Yep.
But
And you'd
yeah.
see Ottawa in there as well. Ottawa is right in there with Halifax and Calgary.
right. Yeah. We are, and also we're a little bit higher than Winnipeg, which is interesting as well, because I think their houses are quite a bit more. So instead of going with Winnipeg, yeah, we're better with that matrix as well. I thought it was kind of ironic looking at a couple of the stats with Saskatchewan. There was a $7 difference between the average there. But yeah, we'll go with next.
Sorry, Ryan,
Oh,
I
yeah,
just have
go
one
ahead.
question. I know you showed like some of the larger employers for Regina, but I was wondering if you had a split by industry, because I don't know that I necessarily got that information unless you went by it really quickly.
I don't. We might have went by it really quickly. If you wanted afterwards, you could reach out to me and I could send all these slides to you as well.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, we'll go with, oh wait, we're already here. So this is a breakdown of studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 4 bedroom, and then, well, 3 and 4 bedrooms. And what the average for each one of them is going for. So studios or bachelors are almost to 1,000 right now. 1 bedrooms, 1,248. 2 bedroom houses are, or apartments would be 1,531. Then 3, 1,900, and so 4, 2,300. So yeah, just breaking that down per size and what you could be.
That's very affordable compared to Ottawa.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, I guess. Oh, did somebody else have a question? Sorry, I thought I heard somebody try to speak up. Anyways, yeah, I'll go with next.
All right. Does it matter how many baths and what is the square footage of a house as well?
It didn't show the square footage of the houses, and I don't have that information. But if that's something that we want to look at, we can, yeah, do our due diligence and look at that in the future too. I got a bit of a graph here just showing what most of the people are actually paying for with the rents as well. And the percentage. So like most people are paying between 750 to 1,500, which is the like bachelors and all the way up to the 2 bedrooms. Then 41% of people are going all the way up to 2,250. And then you get the few of like the higher, more luxury kind of homes and stuff after that. But this is where you would want to try to keep your rents and everything in between and what most people are looking for and are able to afford. Because if you get something too high, then you could probably still rent it, but it's going to be a lot more difficult. Okay, next. This is just a little graph that I pulled up from a website of just the trends over the last couple of years of how rents kind of fluctuated. And it does show it's about a 200 amount of like fluctuation going up and down. But yeah, just within the seasons and when you should be trying to send it out. I know there's a bit of a discrepancy, and it's because I think there was a few 4 or 5 bedroom houses that are actually kind of rare, and they kind of fluctuated that graph quite high. And then when they were rented, it kind of dropped a little bit too. But yeah, I know that just from watching the market and looking at the prices and how they're pulling information from over the last couple of years. But anyways, that's kind of, yeah, what I've noticed with the graph there. Next. This was, yeah, another affordability chart for the rents. So just looking at the ratio with the rents and affordability as opposed to income. So kind of like what we're able to make. And yeah, Regina's one of the top with, like, I guess what you're able to buy and then rent it for, as opposed to what you're able to buy and average affordability for that. So did anyone have any questions about that or this? No? Okay.
Next.
Yeah, next. This is one of the houses. Well, it's not a direct picture, but I want to keep people's privacy and everything. But an actual deal that I did earlier, I guess in November this year, and I actually bought the house for about $52,000 and put $12,000 into renovations. Got the investor to get all that and basically paid for everything, and then the closing costs were only about $1,000, and the investor thought, or not, the lawyer thought that that was a little bit too much because it was a pretty inexpensive house. But yeah, I got the current value based off of a real estate in website who does estimates and stuff. So that's where I'm getting the current value from. And yeah, you just kind of plug in the address and information and
Sorry,
like
sorry, which
put it in
website,
everything.
Brian?
It just give me 1 second. It's
Can you drop it in the chat?
1 second, maybe.
And if you ever get it, what kind of house did you get for $52,000?
It was a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom. Just it was house. It's 2 levels or 2 stories, and yeah, it's not in the best neighborhood. So like, I don't want to talk it up too much, but I've been able to manage the or it's Royal LePage for Canada. And so as long as the house isn't on the market, you'll be able to, here, I'll just try to share that. Copy, okay. Sorry, I just have to
Been
figure out.
holding out on us. Next time you find a house like that, let me know.
Okay, but it has potential of being like having some problems and stuff too. But like, I guess why it was kind of so cheap too, like it had been broken into, so like it had a lot of windows broken. It still had all the piping, which was awesome. So
They didn't steal the copper.
no, a couple of my houses have. I have gone through that. But yeah, a few doors needed replacing, the windows, and then yeah, there was a few other minor little things that we cleaned up and had to get ready. The furnace kind of quit on us, but that was all right too.
Did you use private lender for this one?
Yes, yeah. I got a like I guess a joint venture partner. So that they paid for like all of that, and then we're just kind of working with it, and then we're splitting all the profits 50-50. And yeah, the profits, as you can see, there's like $1,062, and that's based off of the current rent that it's there, and at 1,300 is what we're renting it for. So I think it will show a little bit more in the next frame. How do I get into the chat? Oh, here we
There,
go.
to the right, there's a, yeah.
Yeah, I think I got it. Here we go. So that's the website that I use to plug in information on houses, and it's Royal LePage. So I think of them as being relatively credible. So, yeah, it generated an extra $33,000, which is about 50% of the value of what we put into it. And that's just forced equity. And then we're going to be holding this for the next few years and as is, and just splitting the rent. And then in a couple of years, when we are going to refinance, we'll give the investor all their money back, and then we'll each maintain all of our equity in the deal and everything as well. And then hopefully take that or use that investor again for the next deal. So it's kind of just a slower burr, I guess, is what we're looking at. But yeah, any other questions on that one? If not, we can go to the next.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah, there's the other part of the deal breakdown. So exactly what I did was, yeah, bought it for 52. Renovations were about 12,000. Closing costs and all in for 65,000. The rent is at 1,300. They've been paying it for the last few months. And yeah, forced appreciation. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good deal. And if I would love to make more of those kind of deals too. But anyways, next. Why Regina? And I figured this would be a good place to end it with these last couple slides of the affordability, and everything is one of the best in Canada. Lower cost of living means the people in here in Regina can afford the rents and everything that they are getting. And I think it's a little bit of an untapped market. Not a lot of investors think of Saskatchewan. They're always thinking of like Calgary, Alberta, Ontario. And then I think Toronto and Vancouver are just speculative markets at this point. And yeah, I guess we'll go next. And then, yeah, the investor takeaway here would be like the affordability advantage. There's the rental market is a little bit tight, and so I think our vacancy right now is 2.7, so it is going pretty good there. The economy is pretty stable. There's not too much that can really knock it off. So like in, what is it? Calgary or Alberta, they're highly dependent on oil and gas. And as much as Saskatchewan is, we still can fall back on a few other industries as well. And
Well, Regina is a capital city, so
Yeah.
you have the same kind of stability that you have in Edmonton with government jobs.
right. And yeah, the government jobs are really stable too. unless something big happens. And then, yeah, I think that it's just a smart long-term play as opposed to everything. It has good cash flow value, and yeah.
And what you're going to get in a spot like this is you're going to get good cash flow, but you're not going to get the quicker appreciation that some of the other
Right.
markets get. But if you're a value investor and you're looking at cash flow, that property is going to pay for itself over 20 years, whereas another property might not, because you're concerned about the cash flow.
Right. And yeah, if you're paying into it every single month, that's going to be quite challenging as well. But so yeah, this is why I'm always trying to push for Regina, and I think I have been for quite a few years. But yeah,
That's the end.
Yeah, that's the end. That was my presentation. So
So
did you
Thank
guys
you,
have
Ryan.
any questions or
if I can just
comment?
recommend, if anybody wants a copy of Ryan's slides, just send him a message in the community and he can get your email address there.
Yeah.
The data center is actually being built close to Sherwood, which is half an hour away from Regina.
Okay. I've heard that it was on the other side of the city, but maybe that's why I haven't seen too much. I've been hearing quite a bit of different things, but I'll trust in you. And Sherwood, I think it's on, well, it might be 15 minutes away. But you would be getting everything from Regina at that point because it's more of a rural community.
Okay.
And I think a seasonal community as well.
Ryan, I had a quick
Yep.
question with regard to this. So, sorry, if you were an out of province investor looking to invest in Regina, what would you say would be the biggest issues we might run into?
That's a good question. I guess with trusting in like the landlords or the property managers and all that. And then I guess neighborhoods too. I would really watch out on neighborhoods, and not saying like that not going into the rougher neighborhoods, but at least have somebody who knows about it. And as long as you're aware of the risks and the things that happen or
Yeah,
can
when you-
happen, like
When you talk- go ahead.
my properties have gotten copper, like people breaking in and getting copper pipes stolen. But for me, it's as long as I'm have everything planned and like kind of expect the worst, then it's like, oh, this happened and we're going to have to pay a couple $1,000s to put in new pipes, but it's already in the budget, so it's not that big of a deal.
It's part of business.
Yeah, it is part
Now,
of it.
when you talk about that kind of stuff, what level of neighborhood are you? You're into a D neighborhood at that point, right?
Right.
So if you stick it to your C plus neighborhood, then chances are you're not going to have the same kind of issues.
Not as much. Still expect that there could be issues because Regina is kind of small enough that it kind of spreads throughout the entire city from time to time. But yeah, it's most likely wouldn't, because in a C neighborhood, you have neighbors and stuff that like, oh, there's people in there that shouldn't be there. So,
Right.
yeah.
That's why you need a good property manager to take care of your property.
Yeah, but they can't be watching it like 24/7 either. But hopefully you would catch it within a couple days if it is vacant.
So what would you estimate are like true B areas for multifamily, or even the kind of work you do with single family homes? Like what would you consider the better parts of the city for like B level investing?
I should have put up a map to see. I'm not sure, but the north part of Regina is really good, and the east part of the city is pretty good. If you look at more central, like there's the Washington Park or North Central, those are kind of rough neighborhoods. General Hospital, it's kind of weird because the further north you are in that neighborhood, it gets pretty rough. But then the further you go down south, the better it gets. And then, yeah, there's the university is usually pretty decent. South Albert Street is pretty good. And then a new development, Harbor Landing. I would kind of watch out for that. It's a newer neighborhood, but I think like there's going to be a lot more foundation issues in there because it was the old area where like they would dump snow and everything, and the ground shifts quite a bit, and already people are starting, like it's been a neighborhood for about 10-15 years, and people are already starting to talk about foundation issues in that neighborhood. Although all of Regina, I will warn too, does have foundation issues pretty much everywhere, and that's just the location that it's built in.
Does that impact your insurance in any way?
It could, but not always.
Okay.
What
Like-
is the long-term solution?
Sorry,
for the
what's that?
foundation? What is the long-term solution for the foundation issues?
Probably just make sure that it's in your budget.
So it cannot be fixed permanently. It will
No,
keep reoccurring.
Yeah, it's because Regina's on like an old like marsh from like 100,000 years ago. It used to be like kind of a swamp, and so there's kind of a clay underneath it called gumbo, and so it's always constantly like shifting a bit.
So even the new developments have this issue.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Except there are like some 100-year-old houses that still have their original foundation. And so it does just depend on that area. Extra bracing is usually a quick fix and a lot more cheaper fix if you are having issues. There are a lot of companies here in Regina that drive that industry and are pretty competitive. So it's not something that you need to completely shy away, but it's just being upfront and honest that there's going to be issues there.
That's really good intelligence. Thanks. The only other question I had was with regard to Saskatchewan as a province. It's considered to be a relatively landlord-friendly province in terms of the tenant board issues, et cetera, et cetera. Have you ever had to deal with the rental tenant board for one? And how would it compare to, say, Alberta, which is sort of considered the golden shining standard for landlord-friendly tenant rules in Canada?
I have had to do a couple evictions, and every time there's a little bit of issues with the website, and that's like the biggest issue is just getting it through the website. But the everyone there is usually pretty good, and I actually just go down to the main office and then get them to help me fill out the application and the website and all that kind of stuff, and they're more than friendly and willing to help me with that.
Not like
And they-
Ontario.
Yeah, are they relatively quick though? I mean, here in Ottawa and Ontario's Rock's talking about we have like something like, I think the latest data I saw said like hearings take usually about 5 months and then about 2 months for sheriff eviction. So you're looking at a good 7 to 9 months before you can get a problem tenant out.
No, at most it would be 2 weeks per
Oh, wow.
thing. So hearings are like after I think 15 days, you're able to issue the notice of eviction, and then you start up the whole process and everything. And if they haven't done anything with that. You can have the hearing within about 2 weeks. And then after they've declared that, it's about another 2 weeks to get the sheriffs out.
Big difference.
Oh, I would sign
there-
up and get in line just for that.
Yeah. There were issues when I was kind of dealing with that, and it set me back about another 2 to 3 weeks. But that was more on me and my learning curve dealing with that. So hopefully I can speed that up in the future. But it was more my fault at that point than theirs.
Are you renovating yourself? Or you
A
hiring?
little bit. I'm just being completely open and
Of
honest with
course,
that.
of course.
Just, there's always
So you
learning
can
curves,
understand
and
the equity
Yeah.
there, right?
yeah, there's always learning curves with this
For
stuff
sure.
too. But I still don't like their website and how they go about it, and it just feels really clunky. But I'm sure the more times I go through it, the easier it'll get, and the more streamlined I'll be able to get it too.
Super. Thank you so much. That was fantastic.
You're welcome. And yeah, for Calgary and their landlords, I've never dealt with that, so I'm not too sure where we compare. But
Mhm. Sounds good.
so,
Ryan, thank you for sharing these insights. These are not things that we would, be able to read online very easily.
yeah,
So thank you so much for that.
you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's
thanks
like
so much.
Ryan was the eyes on the ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be interested in maybe private lending in that province, if ever.
Okay.
So how can we get in touch with Mr. Robinson?
Well, just send me a message on Thrive or Facebook, and then yeah,
Ryan
can-
doesn't hide.
yeah, no, and then I can easily just send you a Calendly link for myself, and then we can just pick a time that we want to have a chat with me.
For
Sounds
what it's
good.
worth, Brian is super responsive. I reached out to him when I heard about this session last week, and he's just been like super giving me all this information. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So guys, how about turning on your cameras for a bit, and then we'll get a picture, and then you can turn them off again. Everybody smile. Oh, that's actually a good one. Everybody looks smiling.
Oh,
All
awesome.
right.
Oh,
No close eyes, Rob?
one take. I'm backwards in the picture, but that's okay.
That's all right.
Well,
Where do you put the pictures? I can never see them.
They should be up on the Thrive, because after the session we generally talk about having done the session and a little bit about it, and then the picture up. But if you want, just send me your email and I'll send you a bunch of pictures.
Oh no, it's okay. I just wanted to see where where it places
Where
them.
Yeah,
Where
where
it's-
you would appear, Natalia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
oh, you got a nice smile today, Natalia. So no worries.
Oh, I don't have my eyes closed on the picture. No,
No,
I-
actually, it's a
I'm
good picture.
notorious.
It's
for-
actually a decent picture of everybody except for Reese's got his glasses on, but that's okay.
That's because I'm outside right now.
Oh,
The big fashion lately is to have an avatar
but
of yourself.
I don't have to worry about getting notes on this because my better half is already on the call, so I don't have to worry about that.
You're cheating, Harris. You're cheating.
Yeah, every time I wanted to ask a question, either Rob asked it or my wife asked it. So
Somebody's got to ask those questions.
hey.
Yeah.
Right.
no, but seriously, Ryan, that was just
Oh.
very helpful information. It's like this is not something I would hear from someone else.